Morton Hall was built in 1908 by the son of an American banker, and now it's part of Warwickshire College. But when the war broke out in 1939, it was requisitioned for use by the Army, though not the British Army. Having escaped from Europe any way they could, the remnants of the Czechoslovak army were billeted in the grounds and at nearby Leamington Spa. Here they were trained for the eventual fight back against Nazi domination in Europe. But not all the men from here went to war alongside their British allies. Some of them were selected for secret missions and were trained by the Special Operations Executive, which had one directive from Churchill: to set Europe ablaze. Dozens of men from the camps in Warwickshire were parachuted into Czechoslovakia. They're commemorated here in Leamington Spa's Jeffson Gardens by this memorial in the shape of a parachute. Some of the men were only sent in with radio equipment to establish communications, but others were given missions of sabotage, resistance and assassination. An SS general, Reinhard Heydrich, had been given the task of crushing resistance. He soon earned himself the title the Butcher of Prague, as he ordered the execution of thousands. Joseph Gabčík and young Kubiš were given the mission to assassinate him, designated Operation Anthropoid. They ambushed Heydrich as he drove to work in his open staff car, but Gabčík's Sten gun jammed at the crucial moment. Kubiš threw a grenade which struck the running board of the car. The two men fled, fearing that their mission had failed. But Heydrich had been hit by splinters from the grenade and died of an infection 10 days later. The mission had succeeded after all, but there was a price to pay. The two men were hidden by the resistance in the crypt of a church, but it was surrounded by the SS, and Gabčík and Kubiš committed suicide using their last bullets. It didn't end there. The priests of the church and their bishop were executed. The people of the little village of Likazi, near which Gabčík and Kubiš had landed, were murdered en masse. 250 members of the family and friends of Gabčík and Kubiš were rounded up and later shot at a concentration camp. And this wasn't even the official reprisal. That took place at the little village of Lidice. This crime is commemorated in Coventry, only a few miles from the camps in Warwickshire where the parachutists were based. All 170 men of Lidice were lined up and shot. The women were sent to Ravensbrück concentration camp, where 53 of them perished. The children were all taken off to Germany, supposedly for Germanification, but even so, 82 of them were gassed at Chelmno. It's not hard to find oneself asking, was it really worth it just to kill one man? What no one knew at the time was that Heydrich was also the chief architect of the Holocaust, which was already underway. Even without that crime, he was a monster and would certainly have been hanged had he lived long enough to be tried at Nuremberg. So perhaps to kill this man, it was worth it. But the price in innocent lives was high and should never be forgotten.